One fact tuning into today's video, we're doing the 5-day forecast today. We're going to have a detailed look at weather for the next 5 days across the British Isles. We've got some interesting weather coming up because I think we're going to settle things down a little bit over the weekend. And then next week, it looks like we've got a big battle starting to take place between high pressure over Scandinavia, low pressure coming in from the Atlantic. It could get very cold later next week with a chance of easterly winds. Now, this is outside the 5-day forecast period, so I won't be looking at that today. We're going to finish on Monday, but do watch this space because things could get very interesting next week. Now, before I go, I've actually mentioned the advertising best video ads on my pages at gazweathervids.com. If you press play on the video ad, you'll be supporting gazweathervids.com. Thanks so much for doing that. The websites we're using for the video, we've got the radar picture coming from the UK Met Office. We've got charts from weathercentre.de and weatheroutlook.com. You can find the link to all three of those websites on my links page. So this is the current radar picture. We've got some showers up across the northern and western parts of Scotland. They're pretty insignificant. We've got serious heavy rain developing down to the southwest of England. That's going to be pushing northwards and eastwards through the course of today, bringing some very wet weather later on into Wales and parts of northern England. Here's today's Arctic pressure chart. There's the low pressure down to the southwest starting to move in. So about a nice bright start across much of the country this morning. We have had the showers up in the northwest, but things will cloud over as we go into the afternoon across England and Wales, and find heavy rain setting in across southwest England, through Ireland into Wales, and eventually pushing up in towards northern England, parts of the northwest Midlands as well. The southeast probably staying largely dry but increasingly cloudy, and that sunshine and showers type situation continues for Scotland. Temperatures somewhere around 10 degrees in the south, so very mild down there. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at temperatures of around 5, 6 or 7 degrees, about average for the time of year. The low pressure will be over the country through the course of tonight, gradually clearing away into the North Sea tomorrow, but it's going to be very wet night across Wales and northern England. I think there will be an increasing risk of flooding through the course of the night, actually, because the rain will be on all night. Could turn to snow over tops of the Pennines. I think it's mainly rain, heavy rain though, and persistent rain through Wales, northern England, parts of the north and west Midlands as well included, but I think the worst of it will be for Wales and northern England. Down to the southeast, we may have some patchy showery rain at times. I think it's mainly cloudy and dry down in the southeast, and to the north across Scotland, clearer spells, maybe still 1 or 2 showers around in the north and west, but mainly dry. And I think there'll be a frost up across Scotland tonight with temperatures down to -1. But in the south, very, very mild. Temperatures not dropping any lower than today's maximum, 10 degrees across the south coast. A very, very mild night indeed. Now, as that low pressure moves off into the North Sea on Thursday, it'll bring brighter skies down from the northwest, but it'll be a lot cooler as well. So we'll start off with a wet start across northern England. That should pull away into the North Sea through the course of the morning. Could bring some rain towards East Anglia, parts of the East Midlands as well as it pulls off. But I think it'll push away through the course of the day, and then brighter skies, sunnier skies will edge down from the north through the course of the day. Conversely, though, the temperatures will be dropping with those brighter skies. So we'll start very mild in the south at 10 degrees, but I think temperatures will slide off through the course of the day, despite the fact it's brightening up. Probably finishing up at around 7 degrees in the south, and just 3 or 4 or 5 degrees up in the north. Now, as we move through into Friday, bringing another weather system in off the Atlantic, this will be a weakening feature. So we'll start Friday with quite a cold, sort of bright start. Could be some frost around in places, maybe some fog patches as well. But cloud and outbreaks of rain will move into the west through the course of the day, and that will push eastwards through the day. But the rain will be turning lighter and patchier as it comes eastwards, tending to fizzle out, if anything, as it gets through in towards eastern parts of England. Generally quite a dull, dank sort of day, though, after a bright start. Temperatures will be on the chilly side at just 7 or 8 degrees, though that's not far from the average, really, for time of year. And then as we go into Saturday, high pressure is building over the country, so that's the signs of a change as we go into the weekend. I think we may start off with some dampness in the southeast, that'll quick go. And then it's a mainly dry day, actually, on Saturday, with good sunny spells. It's going to be quite chilly though, with temperatures just 4, 5 or 6 degrees, really quite cold. On Saturday night it could get frosty, actually. Could have a widespread frost with temperatures down to -2, -3 degrees. There could be some fog patches around in places as well. Now, as we move through into Sunday, that's when the high pressure is beginning to shift off up towards Scandinavia. These areas of low pressure starting to move in from the west. So I think we'll start off Sunday on a bright note with some fog patches and also some frost. The east and the north will probably stay mainly dry throughout the day, but I think for Ireland, Wales, southwest England, it will turn cloudier and windier through the day, with some outbreaks of rain setting in, certainly through the afternoon and by the evening many western parts will be quite wet. Going to feel cold in this freshening southerly to southeasterly wind as well, but northern east areas probably hanging on to dry and bright weather throughout most of Sunday, although the sun will increasingly give way to cloud. Temperatures just 4 or 5 degrees for most of us, but eventually getting up to around 8 down in the southwest, but it will feel quite chilly with that wind and rain down there. And then as we go into Monday, we end the forecast period with low pressure over the country coming up against this area of high pressure up against Scandinavia. So I think we're going to find outbreaks of rain really Sunday into Monday. Some of the rain could be heavy, and it may start to turn wintry as well as this southeasterly wind begins to dig colder air in from the east. The rain may turn a little bit wintry across parts of Scotland, possibly northeast England as well. I think we are mainly looking at rain through Monday. Temperatures somewhere around 4, 5 or 6 degrees, and then the trend next week, certainly on this morning's biology, is for colder air to increasingly dig in from the east with an increasing threat of snow as we move through next week, so we will have to keep an eye on that. Finally, have a look at the charts from the Weather Outlook, and this is the situation today. There's the rain coming in to the west through the course of the day and turn really quite wet by the evening across Wales and Northern England in particular. Rain holds off in the southeast mainly, but it will cloud up. As we move through into Thursday, the rain will be clearing off from Northern England into the North Sea, and then brighter, colder weather edges back from the north and the west. As we go into Friday, it's mainly dry in the morning. It will be quite chilly, but I think we'll find some cloud and rain moving into west through the course of the afternoon. That will turn increasingly light and patchy as it moves eastwards through the course of Friday. Saturday mainly dry, will be cold early and late with some frost and fog patches. Sunday mainly dry actually for much of the day, although later on it will eventually turn wet and windy in the west, but I think many central northern east areas will probably hang on to dry weather through the course of Sunday, still quite chilly. And then as we move through into Monday, a lot of rain across the country, temperatures will be lowering, and just to give you a quick look at what it's showing for Tuesday, where it's much colder, and yet there is some snow there across parts of the country as the rain turns increasingly wintry with that cold air really starting to dig in. So in summary, we're going to be seeing, well, a quieter spell coming up over the weekend. There's still going to be some rain, particularly through tonight and into tomorrow morning across Wales and Northern England. Very wet there, could be an increased risk of flooding again. But I think generally we're seeing the rain ease off a little bit through the rest of this week and into the weekend. Largely dry conditions until the end of Sunday, when more rain will come in from the west, and that sets up the battle then between the high pressure over Scandinavia, the low pressure in the Atlantic, and that cold air could start to dig in through the course of next week. Watch this space. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.